Hello, and welcome to another Comments from the Couch. It's been the start of the racing season, and I joked on the thumbnail about it being like London buses, how you wait forever to a race to happen and then suddenly three turn up at once. But of course, this weekend there was the Formula 1, there was two Formula 2, there was two Formula 3, there was IndyCar, although I didn't actually see them. Of course, you had IMSA and you had NASCAR as well. So, 8 races, and going from nothing for months to overwhelming cars and action on track. No, good stuff. I'm not going to be going into great depth about any races and stuff. There's plenty of race reviews and stuff out there. I'm probably not going to be doing necessarily this every weekend. But I thought, because it was the first proper racing of the year, I know IndyCar's had a race already, but in terms of Formula 1, Formula 2, Formula 3, because it was like the first weekend properly of the year, I'd at least discuss some of it and how exciting it's looking like being. The gaps and the time they've not been able to run in the factory and shortage of supplies and just how everything's been sort of pressed together and in a manner that isn't the slick, practiced methods that we're used to seeing from the teams and the organisation has definitely added to the excitement. Teams actually having to think about, Mercedes having to actually think about spare parts. Red Bull having to actually think about spare parts. That's putting a lot of pressure on, and the normal systems that are used to running and operating, they're having to think on their feet and adapt and adjust to circumstances a lot more than perhaps they normally would have to, and it's leading to some proper excitement. The reliability on there, just because they've not, normally at this point they've been running for months and everything is under control and practiced and processes and everything else, and spare parts, they don't have that at the moment, and that's making it really interesting. Unfortunately, I can see it not being too long before it sort of settles down into the usual thing, but it's like at the moment, just enjoy the uncertainty almost, which is good. Not if you're a Red Bull fan, unfortunately. In terms of reliability, it just that sucks. I do feel sorry for them, because Max could have been on for a good result there, and so could Alex. If things had worked out differently, he could have potentially won the race, which says everything. Right, I'll leave Formula 1 there, and we'll move on. Formula 2. I said it was going to be a competitive year. The problem is, this might not be a thing now, it might develop, and by the end of the year we'll be going, there's that clear person, they won the championship by a distance and they obviously deserve to make the jump to Formula 1. But the problem this year is almost like there's such an amount of quality drivers in it, there isn't sort of currently one standout person. So if any one of them do get to Formula 1, you're always going to be like, what about this driver? And they did that, and they did that. It's too early in the season to tell yet, but we had 2 races, and out of the 6 possible podium places, we've had 6 different drivers. There are 13 drivers who have points so far, which is crazy. It's unusual. And that's with drivers like, Yuki Tsunoda and Jahandra Avala not having points yet, and you'd expect them to have got some. And then, Artem Markov and Luka Giotto as well. And these are people you'd expect Luka Giotto and Artem Markelov, you're fully expected to be getting podiums and fighting properly at the front. I know Luka's with high tech and they're new to it, but they're an experienced quality outfit, and they did show when the car was working and they weren't getting caught out by bad luck and stuff that they've got proper pace. So fully expect them to be in the mix as well later on in the year. It's such an exciting battle. There's so much going on. As a Ferrari fan and someone who's followed, obviously, the Ferrari Driver Academy for a while, the complete Ferrari Driver Academy podium in the first F2 race was that was awesome. Callum, Marcus, Robert, they're all good lads. I like all of them. Marcus, if I had to pick one, I would say him, but Callum's seems a genuinely good guy as well, the few times I've ran into him briefly. And I'll move on to Formula 3. It's a similar thing with Formula 3 to Formula 2. You've got such a stacked grid of drivers there. There's 30 drivers in total across the grid, but it's difficult to point to too many who are completely terrible, if that makes any sense. You've got guys right at the back who it's just sort of like, they've won championships. Then they're not by any stretch of the imagination bad drivers at all. They're championship winning drivers. But again, it was like 13 drivers finished the weekend having scored points. Out of the 6 possible podium finishes, there were 6 different drivers. And so for the 12 different drivers between 2 series, that's practically unheard of. It's crazy. Normally there's always 1 or 2 drivers who are cutting through, but because the quality in that field is so strong, cutting through is an incredibly difficult thing to do. Oscar Piastri ran the first F3 race by quite happily and could just about make it up to 8th. Callum Ilott won the first F2 race reasonably, and he was 9th, I think, in the sprint race because he just couldn't get past the people in front because it's such quality grid. If you look at the list of people in F3 who haven't scored points yet after 2 rounds, and it's like Jake Hughes, Theo Pourchaire, Jack Doohan, Dennis Hauger, Igor Fraga, Ollie Caldwell is decent. Inam Ahmed, he's got the most points ever and the strongest finishes ever in British F3. He holds the record for basically being the most dominant driver in it. And I know that series isn't like what it used to be, but that's still impressive. He's on 0 points, currently listed as being in about 30th out of 30. It's crazy. There is so much to come from those 2 series this year, and I'm absolutely all about watching that. That's going to be great. So I'll move on to Indy as well, because that is a hell of a good single-seater series. I'm looking forward to enjoying watching more of that this year. Obviously, we've got Scott Dixon just kind of, on paper, it looks like he's running away from it at the moment, 2 from 2. But you've got a couple of other people who are coming up behind him, Joseph Newgarden, I think, is 3rd, and Simon Pagenaud is 2nd. And it's like if Scott Dixon has a DNF, that could bring them properly into play. It's still very early to sort of confirm anything at the moment. But he's the guy to beat, as he always seems to be honest. But again, with that series, it's more like in the same way that with every other series we've looked at or talked about so far, there's drivers who are going to be up there, but for whatever reason currently it's just not worked for them. They will be in the mix. IndyCar, you've got Ryan Hunter-Reay currently 9th. Will Power currently 15th. Felix Rosenqvist, who is the teammate of Scott Dixon, is in 19th. Takuma Sato, 21st. Indy 500 winner a couple of years back. And Alexander Rossi, who is a championship front runner and is only a matter of time generally considered before he wins an IndyCar title, currently in 23rd. How the? So there's so much development, so much potential there, and so much in that series to watch out for, because they've had some terrible luck so far and things really haven't gone their way. But they're going to be in the mix. They're not going to stay in those positions. They're going to be, so it's just so much to look out for in single seaters and so much to look forward to, and I'm really looking forward to watching it all this year. The only worry is almost that because the calendar's so condensed and we're going to have so many races coming thick and fast, it's all going to be potentially a little bit overwhelming. But that's a hard life, isn't it? Anyway, that's me rambled on for a little while. If you guys have any comments or whatever, then by all means leave them down below. And providing it's not playing up too much and actually lets me see them, then I'll try and respond as much as possible. But good evening, have a good week, and I'll chat to you guys later. Thanks very much for watching. Bye-bye.